Hi, my name is Elias and welcome back for daily Formula News. Verstappen and Red Bull had trouble weekend in the Italian GP, where the reigning world champion was almost 7/10 of second, shy of pole position before bringing his RB20 home in 6th place. Still the better of the two Red Bull driver, Helmut Marko claimed the talent can no longer drive around the RB20 balance issue, which had been exacerbated by recent upgrades, could Verstappen back to the podium again with the RB20. A notable misstep in Hungary forced the team to deal back on their upgrades, with Red Bull now in a race to figure out exactly where they were wrong, but where Marcus says they made a breakthrough on Saturday that allowed the team to take a decision on how to move forward. The team is facing the loss of the Constructors' Championship and perhaps even the drivers. David Coulthard explained this: they haven't won on the upgrades, unlike McLaren who have found performance, they haven't moved forward. They need to unlock the performance in that car. Right now is a losing streak that's going to be very difficult to turn around. Unless they come up with something that really ignites the car performance, the upgrade haven't worked and they no longer the benchmark in terms of outside performance. They know that, they can't hide from it. Red Bull's decline in form since the Miami GP has coincided with the timing of news emerging that design genius Adrian Newey is leaving the squad. That announcement came on at the eve of the Miami GP, which was the first race this season where Red Bull was beaten by McLaren. Although Newey has remained with the team at races and does not officially depart until the first quarter of next year, he has obviously been removed from his involvement in technical matters and with not the sole architect of Red Bull title-winning machinery in recent years. What Newey has often provided was valuable input in concept idea or steadying the ship when things have got unsettled, but Horner does not think Newey excites X Factor because he reckons the problem has already come to light while he was still heavily involved on track side. Horner said, "I think we would have had all these issues still because the issues were already there and one input could never be so dramatic so quickly. This started and really highlighted itself in Miami and Adrian was projected in up until the Friday of Miami, so there is no way it would have impact so quickly. F1 is team issue and the team will come up with a resolution." Where Red Bull revealed its RB20 at Marathon Nice factory at the start of the year, it surprised many with how big step it had taken from 2023 rather than sit on its laurels after its dominant start to last year's title double. With an evolutionary design, it went extra with a pretty hefty revamp of its aero and cooling to deliver an extra step in performance. But looking back at how things have developed this season and seeing how McLaren has hunted it down by simply optimizing car that has no charger much in Miami, one element could be that its overly complex efforts to gain one over the opposition have backfired. Christian Horner said, "I think what we really need to do is get the aero map working. If you look at the McLaren, its almost looked like an evolution of last year's car, as a much simpler car than ours." McLaren continued to build the pressure in its Formula 1 rival as it unleashed another clutch of upgrades at the Italian GP, while some of these changes are track specific for the high-speed characteristics at Monza, other points to longer-term efforts aimed to eking out even more performance from the MCL38. The most obvious changes for Monza always revolve around the reduction in the drag, with the front, rear and beam wing some of the smartest seen on the car all year. In McLaren case, this started from with a new upper flap design. From its front wing, we've seen the crescent-shaped section trimmed out of the trailing edge. There are also further changes to the MCL38 sidepod and engine cover bodywork at Monza as the team continued to improve the airflow passage to the rear of the car. Still a set, but definitely a contest for McLaren. We seem to not to be in condition to cash in some of this development that we have occurred, and I would expect that for the rest of the season we will have a multiple times of new parts. In a way, I'm surprised that we've been so competitive, considering that from Miami onward we haven't actually brought trackside many new parts. Red Bull may need to look further than its most recent upgrade to get an understanding of exactly where things have gone wrong. One interesting suggestion from Horner is that the unbalanced characteristics may have been present for a while, but it was shielded by the fact that its previous two cars were so dominant. A suggestion is that as Red Bull has had to lift its game in the wake of increased challenge from McLaren, Mercedes and Ferrari, it means the issues has become more exposed, reaching peak right now. Horner said, "It's been there for some time. Actually going through the data, there were issues there at the beginning of the year with the characteristics. I think others have obviously made a step. And as we've pushed the package harder, it's exposed the issue. If you go back in the data, there was 4 races last year where we start to see this, in Austin and so on. So I think it's characteristics that we know we have to address and its full focus in the factory of Militoknice to do that. One of the big headaches many teams face is the fact that correlation between wind tunnel data and the real-life F1 car is quite difficult to speed that teams are allowed to run in the tunnel, and the size of their models do not match up with the force experiences out on the track, and any mismatch in the data can be hard to unpick. Red Bull cites that issue had faces issue on this front, with the balance issue that gets exposed on the real RB20 not coming to light in the simulation. Horner explained this: "I think the recent upgrades were aimed at putting a lot on the car. It's a disconnected front and rear, and we can see that our wind tunnel doesn't say that, but the tracks say that, so it's about getting on the top of that, because obviously when you have that, it means you can't trust your tools. So then you have to go back to the track data and previous experience." While title rival McLaren is making good use for its latest state-of-the-art wind tunnel, Red Bull is still reliant on its old pitboard facility, which, although modified over the years, it's probably not the best in the business. A new facility is being built at its Militoknice factory, which will be an improvement, but Horner does not see that an excuse for Red Bull life. Horner said, "I think that wind tunnel has its limitation, which is why we'll be invested in new tunnel, but it's what we've got, and we have to make use for it. I think the wind tunnel is perhaps a contributor, but it's not the reason behind where we are." Yet, despite starting the season with 4 victories from the 5 races, including 3 1-2 finishes for Verstappen and teammate Sergio Perez in Bahrain, Saudi Arabia and Japan, Red Bull have faced dramatically over recent months. Verstappen is without a win for the last 6 races, his longest drought since the 2020 season, with his most recent victory occurring in the Spanish GP on June 23. With 8 races remaining, Verstappen lead over Lando Norris has been quiet to 62 points, with Red Bull now just 8 ahead McLaren in the Constructors' Championship. Next weekend, Azerbaijan GP could see Red Bull lose the lead of the constructor standing for the first time since May 2022. Red Bull's woes continue in the last weekend Italian GP, where Verstappen finished the distance 6, 37.9 seconds behind race winner Charles Leclerc. It's the circus where he secured the record-breaking 10th consecutive victory in F1 2023. Verstappen won on the sound alarm after the race that both driver and constructor champion will slip away from Red Bull if the situation is not rectified. Verstappen said, "At the moment, both championships are non-realistic. We have thrown it around and it's not easy to do that very quickly. And then if we can put that on the car, then it's become more drivable. I've seen a lot. And now it's up to the team to come out with a lot of changes with the car, because we basically went from a very dominant car to an undrivable car in the space of 6-8 months." Still can see Verstappen losing the driver, especially if all the other teams are taking turns winning, and the McLaren seems determined not to have Lando in it. Lando great driver but not restless enough. I couldn't see Verstappen, Hamilton or Alonso letting Piastri and Leclerc swam by like that, or give over the lead to Oscar in a race, or lose all the stars but it'll be better sort out their car, so Max can at least get on the podium. Don't miss subscribe and share your reaction about Red Bull, what they can do in Azerbaijan GP.